Well, hello, everybody. It's marvelous, magical, mythical, mystical Monday. I was trying to think of a few more to add in there. I was about to say a few Afrikaans swear words as well. But then I decided not to. I would behave on this marvelous, magical Monday with our beautiful Bryce from Esoteric Atlanta. And today we're going to be looking at part 12 of chapter 3 of the Emerald Tablets, How Not to Be an Asshole. And I really need that in my life today, because I can tell you anyone who's come across my path today has definitely thinking I'm an asshole. I've had painters in my house. I've had banging. It's been insane. I'm traumatized. But I'll be fine. So yes, hello everybody. Welcome. This is a wonderful Monday. And before we carry on with part 3 of what I definitely need to know best today, we're going to be talking about what I probably need to be doing more of, sun salutation challenges. We're going to be chatting, just a reminder of our 3-week sun salutation challenge coming up, 21 days. In fact, it's probably going to end up being 23 days in total, because I'm strongly suggesting that we take a break. Let's say after the 7 day of 36, take a break of a day. And then after the 72, take a break before the 108. And then obviously when the 108, you take your break that you need. But yeah, very excited. It's starting in a week's time. The 3-week Surya Namaskar or Sun Salutation Challenge with us here. If there's anyone who would still like to join, you please can email Bryce. And I know Morné will put Bryce's email address in the comments section again, just so that anyone who doesn't know it will have it. And also, even if you are on Bryce's Signal group, the Shadow Work Challenge group, I've started my own Signal group as well, just with my name, Chantelle Meyburgh. And Morné will also give you the link to that. You do need to, you're invited by link. It's not an open group for just anyone and everyone. So I'm going to be posting a lot of, well, probably most. I will also go into the Shadow Work Challenge group. But why I'm keeping it to my group as well is because there will also be other people who aren't on the challenge, and then they can join the group there. So then I will be posting stuff, and not just there. It's also a group for those of you who would like to follow my personal work. So there'll be stuff I post, the workshops that I do, blogs that I write, vlogs that I do, that sort of stuff. So it's really just, I want to, rather than do a Telegram group, I'm moving it over to Signal, because Bryce tells me it's a lot more secure, and I trust that. I actually do feel that, I must say. I feel Signal is cleaner. And then we can just, connect there and, do the stuff, the work that we're doing, and you guys can follow my workshops. Those that are part of the group, you can have discounts and stuff as well. So it's just a little community group where I can chat to you. I'll be giving you regular updates. It's more following me on a personal level, what I do in my healing work, teaching work, as well as the stuff from the channels as well. But, there's so many different arms to what we do. We have got the yoga, we've got the alchemy, we've got the SunKidz, we've got the YouTube channels, so there's a lot of, so those of you who are following the work, the healing work for the kids as well as the adults, that would be the group right now to follow. So if you still want to join the Sun Salutation Challenge, please do. We're starting with 36, 72, 108. I did a wonderful interview on Bryce's channel on Sunday, which was yesterday. So if you haven't watched that interview, please do. I explain in depth why we do it, the 36. Bryce has also posted some amazing pictures of the Ashtanga yoga and their shala. So it really is, it's a beautiful, beautiful practice. And I do highly recommend, please, that you at least have a basic knowledge of yoga. I don't coach you through the sun salutations. It's not a coaching. It's a basic practice. You'll see I'm doing I'm not jumping forwards, backwards, anything hectic. It's stepping back, stepping forward, and you can see my back was pretty stiff and I was dealing with releasing stuff in my back. So I'm very careful with my back. So you work according to your speed. You do it the way you want to do it. You've got a pause button on your device. Pause it when you need to. And also just talk to you as well in the intro, how I count. Like with the 36, I count you through most of them. Okay, that's the one. 72 and 108, I kind of leave you to do it. I'll count you through the first few. But I sort of say to you, okay, like on the uneven numbers, like when you step back, we count at the end of the round. So I'll step back with my right leg and I'll step forward with my right leg. And at the end, that's 1. 2 will be left leg back, left leg forward. So that's how I keep count, especially when you're going further. So I know that the uneven numbers are on my right hand and the even numbers on my left. So that's just little clues and things that you can just work in that I give you. But I'm very excited to be doing it with you guys. I will be doing it again. I was actually just starting the 4th rotation now, but realized I'd only be done with a 72 by the time you guys start. So I'm waiting now, and I'll start again the 36 with you as well. So I hope you enjoy it. Please let us know what you think. Any comments, feedback, really constructive comments, please, always welcome, and just very happy to be sharing this little journey with you. You guys are the first one I'm doing this with. Bryce said to me, why did I do that? 36, 72, and 108 in your interview. And it's really, I woke up one day and I knew that was going to work. I just knew it. And then I practiced on myself, and boy, oh boy, I've done 3 rotations now in the middle of my 4th one. And the changes and the shifts and what I've gone through in the last 3 or 4 months since I've been doing that has been phenomenal. So I want to share that with you and welcome you all to that beautiful practice. Just to enjoy, take your time, no stress, nothing hectic. Just enjoy growing, expanding, and just where your beautiful life path takes you. It's not to take you down the same path as me or Bryce or Morné. It's to take you on the path that you are meant to be. So that's what it's about. It ain't no cult. We want you to be your guru. You are your own guru. And that is what everybody in this life must realize. And I wish that all for you. So when you start doing stuff like that and you commit to yourself, commitment to self, showing up for yourself is the most beautiful, vital key to success you will ever have. I promise you that now. Because when you commit to self, you then emanate that energy, and law of correspondence dictates you're going to correspond with those who commit to themselves too. And therefore, when you have projects together, you'll have no problem committing to each other, whether it's in a friendship or relation, whatever. That's how it works. But it's not about trying to get that. It's about realizing you want that for you. You want to be that being for you. That's the point you reach. And when you reach that point, you'll see what I mean.
100%. And that's instant. We ain't no cult leaders, guys. I would be a terrible cult leader. I would be the worst cult leader. Because I would be like, I don't know. What do you think? Like, I can't even control.
What do you think? Go do it your way. Like, why are you asking me?
I have a hard time figuring out what I'm going to eat for lunch. Like, I don't know.
No, I think I will have fun with it. I'll be like, okay, cool. You do this, you all do that.
Morné, you see, the most unsuspecting of the lot wants to be that cult leader. The ones who think we are cult leaders are going, you've got to be joking. I'm the worst boss ever.
Forgive your mother. You will forgive your father. You shall not escape your grandchildren.
I can't tell people, like, I can't even control my dog. I don't know why I would want to try to control another person. Like, that seems listen, to try to control one other person, not to mention a whole community, seems really stressful. Like, that's just too much. Like, I need a break. Like, I need to go to the spa or something. Like, that's too much. So yeah, no, we say that laughing, but truly, you guys, it's too much work. It's too much work. There's a saying we say in India, and it goes like this. There's two parts to the saying. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. But when the student is really ready, the teacher disappears.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was about to say. Do you know, and I'd love to share that with you. And I want to just share a story exactly about that, because I've never questioned myself in terms of my spirituality or my belief system. I was born, I have a memory in the womb of being in my mother's womb, and I needed to get out, and I was ready. I had fingers, I had toes. I could think I was coming out. You asked my family, I was speaking fluently when I was 16 months old. So already, you know, there was like this kind of sense of, and I was psychic as a child, and I couldn't understand what I was seeing and why were people lying to me. And they tell me, I'm like, why are you lying? You know, that sort of thing, you know. So it was a tough battle to find that balance about what's tangible and what's non-tangible. And I came in knowing and understanding things that I couldn't really explain. So my purpose as I went along the way was to make something so intangible, so abstract, into something tangible that others could understand. And I finally achieved that, I think, well, the bigger part of it, when I wrote my workshops to explain how everything works. It took me a long time to get there, right? But it was so amazing, because being on this platform, I'm obviously challenged by a lot of religious people. And the whole Bible, this, that, the next thing. So I've done a lot of, you know, I've always been good with God. There's no question in my mind, you know, around that. But I also understand that because a lot of other people haven't experienced what I have, it's difficult for them to understand that. So it was like really just given to me a couple of days ago. And I said to God, you know, why am I here? You know, what am I doing on this platform? I mean, amongst various other things, you know. And God said to me, you know, it's like when I was coming to earth and I was sitting, and God said, right, Chantelle, how would you like to worship me in this life? Now, I believe in reincarnation, and I believe that I've lived many lives before, experiencing many different denominations and stuff like that, right? So that's what I believe. So it's like, I said to God, you got to be joking. There's no ways I can just come and worship and honor you in one way. There are so many beautiful ways that you exist. How is it just in one way? I said, I want a bit of that and that and that and that, and put it all together. And you make this beautiful alchemy dream come true. And God says, right, so you don't want a notebook? I said, oh, hell no. God says, off you go. You're a big girl now. Do it on your own. And do you know, ever since I was a child, I would say, leave me alone. I want to do it myself. So I fully understand that the knowledge that we have gained from previous life experiences is within us. And in this time, it is up to us to access that through whichever means work for you. There is not only one way. That's what I believe. There is not only one way. We have so many different ways that we can acknowledge and can experience greatness and beauty and God, that it doesn't have to be just one way. But maybe for others, it is just one way. For me, it's not, you know. So it's like, enjoy the moment. Take the good and the bad out of every experience. See what you can gain or learn from it. And when you apply the teachings of Christ, forgiveness, love, compassion, self-introspection, law of attraction, you understand how the frequencies work, and you understand how you are creating your own little demons in your head, myself included. Hello, today would be prime example of what I've created for myself that I did not like. But I also understood that it was my creation. And it took me an hour or two to fix it. And when I fixed it, it got a whole lot better. So that's what I'm saying. It's really just you understanding who you are in this world. And through your connection to God, you really don't need anything else because you are guided. And the way you choose to experience God, of course, you're going to experience God in different ways, whether it's through yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, in a physical way, gym, if you will, if that's your thing. Experience your body and enjoy it. And that's the whole thing. Your body is your vehicle for spirit. And if your vehicle is full of light and amazing things, of course, you're going to have good things in your life. And not that you don't have bad things, but you know how to navigate them. And that's what we put forth.
I'm so glad you said that because that's literally where we're starting today in the Emerald Tablets.
I had a feeling. I was like,
I'm looking down, I'm like, that's where we're going today. So
yeah, I was looking at Emerald Tablet 3 part 12.
Hey, don't say that. Just now people are going to say I'm Thoth or something, you know, then I get accused of being a demon, please.
Oh God. Listen, I got pissed yesterday because sometimes, I'm just going to say it, like sometimes some of the people in our little community seem to be more hateful, more bloodthirsty, more vengeful than the people in the controller group. Because people are confusing the evil eye with the eye of the Illuminati. And I want to sit here and say, first of all, listen, you guys, darkness can't create anything. If you are giving the controllers credit for creating something, you're giving them too much credit because darkness can't create. They can only steal. It can only steal from the light and invert it. That's it. That's all it can do. So everything that you judge people on is something that was created in the light. And just wait, friends, because this week on my channel, we're going to be talking about Tammuz and Ishtar, where the cross really comes from. So for what is it that Yeshua said? Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I want to say as well, I've recently got my hands onto some documentation called the Gateway Program. Now that is super interesting. Exactly what you're saying, Bryce. It's like what these guys did is people that have meditated for many years, for example, they measured their brain waves. And they saw how the brain over time with meditation and the frequencies and the right and the left brain until eventually both brain hemispheres polarized. And then because, of course, that I'm not going to go into it now, but reaches the pleasure centers and becomes then open to suggestions and all sorts of things like that. What these guys did is they took that, and let us never forget this, because that's why it's called the Gateway Program. And I'm going to do a big reveal on this very soon. They took the Gateway Program with that, and they studied different teachings, such as hypnotherapy, such as biofeedback and meditation. Now, what they did was they took those out of the occult, right? Those were occultic teachings, and they made them mainstream so that more and more people could get access to it. That's why you're going to look at transcendental meditation, Infiltrated. When you see Ellen DeGeneres and Tom Hanks supporting transcendental meditation, please be very, very careful. Biofeedback, be very, very, very careful. Hypnotherapy, be very, very, very careful. So what I'm saying is what they've done is they've measured those brain waves, and through AI, they've enhanced it. So they've taken that and they've mimicked that. And then with their mind control techniques and the things they do, and that's how they create super soldiers. Yeah. They then enhance these kids' special spiritual gifts with their Luciferian agenda, but they have mimicked God's frequencies first. Yeah. And I will tell you that beyond a shadow of doubt. So meditation is not evil. How you meditate is what you need to watch for. And they have put out certain music, and they have put out certain meditations. Yep. And that's what you've got to be careful for. So you've got to be careful for the stuff they have mimicked, if you will. That's what you've got to be careful of.
I would love to in the future do a big show on this, because I know I've spent countless years in India going back and forth for months and months at a time, and I've learned Sanskrit. I always laugh that I don't speak another language, but I do speak another language. It's just not a language that can be used in modern day language. I had to learn Sanskrit so I could read all the text, and I know my teacher in India gets very upset with what has happened to, it's like he knows that they fucked with it, like the original. And so we get lectured in India a lot about what to stay away from, and he gets very upset. So I would love to do a show with you guys on that one day to talk about because people will message me all the time about stuff, and I'm just like, this is not, I personally am very weary of hypnotherapy as well. I have one friend that does it that I trust her because she's really, but otherwise it's not, the law of one talks about this. You should not be under hypnotherapy for more than an hour because things can happen. And if the person running the session is not aware of where this, you have to follow the breadcrumbs, right? Oh, I think Shanti froze. You have to follow the breadcrumbs. You have to figure out where. It's like I always say with churches, you have to, like the seminary schools, follow the money. Who's funding the seminary schools? If you follow the money, you're going to learn, like I did. It's the exact same people who are funding the media. So you can't just do a practice because somebody says it's great. You got to research this stuff. Everything was all created for the good, but the administration came in. And so it is your job. You can't sit around and say, oh, I didn't know, because you were given a brain that has the ability to critically think. You can research. If I can research, anyone can. And sometimes that's all it takes. It's just doing an hour's worth of research to go, oh, I see now. Like, I see where this is infiltrated. I see where this is, and that's
besides your brain, you've got an intuition that knows.
Yes.
Your intuition always is like, just be quiet and listen to your gut. Just like, okay, ask yourself, should I trust this? And it's funny that, Shanti, you said that right now, because when I started on this journey, when I met you and I started really going into this work, I didn't really like guided meditation. I think there was one person that I did guided meditations with. I was always, and even for my clients, I tell them, quiet. If you want to be, maybe play dolphin music, but no frequency sounds, no guided music.
Hang on. That's especially, you talk about dolphin, and that's especially how they make a special mention of that, actually. The sound of the ocean. And but I have to read it again, because what they've noticed is that when people meditate to the sound of the ocean, there's a certain resonance that happens, and that happens. Now, exactly what happens, I have to go and research further. So what I'm saying is that they have taken those frequencies, and then they've expanded on it. So they've known, for example, listening to an air conditioner will absolutely open that up. It's that monotone type thing, that monotone type, like the ocean. It's that constant thing. So again, they've understood that works. They didn't make it work. It already worked. But it worked for the good. And of course, as our human bodies and as our consciousness expands, so will our frequency raise. That's what we're doing, right? So as we naturally evolve as a species, so our intuition increases, our ability to have insight or foresight or be healers or see your past lives or whatever it might be, right? It naturally occurs of itself as you connect more to spiritual intelligence, in other words, to God. But what they've done is they've now understood how they can fake that before the human being is ready. Same as a Kundalini activation. Kundalini is not evil, right? Nope. Kundalini exists, but forced Kundalini activation is very possible, and it is highly destructive and very dangerous. So that's what I'm saying. And what they do is they force it. But they also know how to not force it too much to destroy it. That's why they have so many expendables and things that they do these experiments on, these terrible experiments on these people and these children over the years, trying these horrible, horrible experiments on them that are supposed to be occurring naturally as we evolve as a species.
And I would love to, because we do the Tristana method in Ashtanga, which is a form of meditation that my teacher is very strict about us doing seated meditation. He wants us only to do this particular form because he says that. He says you're so susceptible when the mind is able, you can enter into a place of psychosis or neurosis. And we can get, my boyfriend years ago wrote a huge article about this that went viral many, many years ago. Because Chanti's right. And I just really want to reiterate that. Well, it's like the Emerald Tablets. How many people are sitting around saying, thought this evil, but they've never even read the Emerald Tablets, and this is how this in a court of law, that would be called hearsay. And hearsay is inadmissible. You can't bring hearsay into a court of law. You have to bring fact. And so you have to bring evidence. And so that's why it's so important that we actually research stuff. We actually, like the evil eye that people are saying is the Illuminati eye. No, the evil eye is used in Turkey. It's used in Greece. It's to ward off evil spells. I've had evil eye since I was, it's actually a thing that wards off evil spells. And if you're talking about the Illuminati eye, you're talking about the Eye of Horus, but the Eye of Horus itself isn't bad. They inverted it. Okay. And so I'm just so glad. That is one thing that scares me. And I know we're preaching to the choir right now, but I just want to remind people, it terrifies me sometimes because I see some people in this community, whatever this is, that are so bloodthirsty that they scare me more than the controllers do. They're so out, like hang people and burn like a witch trial. But yet you have no idea. If you're one of the Christian ones, do you know where the cross really comes from? It doesn't come from Jesus. It comes from Tammuz. And we're going to talk about that on my channel this week. And that's okay too. But it's not what you think it is, because the real Yeshua was not crucified. So what are you wearing around your neck? I don't care if you wear a cross. That's up to you. But judge not, lest ye be judged. If you're pointing one finger at someone, you got three pointing back at you. And this bloodshed, the God that I am in, and I'm the same way, Shanti. I've always been God, and I've always been good. In fact, I was saying yesterday with a video that's going to air today with Emmy, when I had my Vedic chart done in India by my philosophy teacher, which is slightly different than the Western chart. They have a house of yoga. And I remember my philosophy teacher, who was also doing the Vedic chart, looked at me and he said, you have more planets in the house of yoga than anybody I've ever read for, including master teachers. You had no choice but to do this. So you don't know God's plan for someone. And I believe people's church is a love letter from God. If God's saying, this is where you're going to go. This is your treasure chest. This is your journey. This is the roller coaster. And so you don't know, people are sitting around judging people. Judge people on actual evidence. Let it go into the court of law. Have they hurt someone? Have they participated in these awful ceremonies? We'll say that's what you need to judge someone on, not whether they're wearing an evil eye that might be from their culture. Might be from their Turkish culture that is actually meant to ward off evil spells. Because if you don't want somebody judging you because you wear the cross of Tammuz on your neck, then you should not be judging someone else for having their culture too. And that I just really hope that when moving forward, that we come to a place of understanding. So we know Shanti's internet. So do you guys? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add to that. Yeah, because we all know God created everything. Mm-hmm. And we know they infiltrated everything. So it's our job to infiltrate the infiltrated and bring it back to the light. It's God's eye. If it's the Horus eye, the evil eye, it's all about God's eye looking after you. So they infiltrated that, used that same gifts, with like spells and magic, trying to create their own little God's eye. But that's not what that eye resembles. That's not what Horus eye resembles. That's not what the evil eye resembles. They just inverted everything. So we need to take it back. We need to reinvert it and not throw it away and make it ugly. I mean, like really,
it's like
the
nothing left. if we got rid of everything they inverted.
You know, the apple of Eden. There's like this evil apple, so we can't eat apples anymore. No people in this world can eat apple because Eve ate the wrong apple. You know, that's the same thing. We need
it's
to
ridiculous. It's yes. And Sharon, yes, I believe that is true, and I also think it happens a lot with hypnosis. With the hypnosis.
Yeah, Sharon, I'm definitely gonna agree with that, because I also know that what happens, and especially, I mean, guys, you know, when we're looking, we have to understand, and I know that this is a very, very bitter pill to swallow for a lot of people. Military is Luciferian.
Mm-hmm.
It is completely Luciferian. One of the, you know, when these high level soldiers are being trained, one of the things they get trained with is meditation to find themselves. And I'm not even talking about a lot of the other stuff. But when we're looking at this year, yes, they are definitely, sorry, Sharon Spain, I'm just going to put your thing, definitely. There's implants, there's injections, there's nanotech that interfaces with the implants, and that creates this stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And please, I know it's such a heartbreaking thing, because when we think as mothers of our sons going to the military, right? Your son's a Navy SEAL, your son's a Green Beret, your son's a whatever it is that you guys have. Yeah, in Africa, he's a Recce, he's a Parabat, he's a Kufut, he's a Salute Scout, whatever, you know, these special forces guys are. Wow. Yeah. If you look at our Salute Scouts here in Rhodesia, they are well known for walking around and they would carry skulls. They have these sticks and they've got a skull on that stick. And you have to know, these guys work very, very strongly with the witch doctors. That is very well known around here. And that really is looking at the British, because the British really took over Rhodesia. They colonized Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. And the Salute Scouts are really the Rhodesian special forces, but coming from the British that have really been Africanized. So when we look at all of this and we look at our sons going to the military and holding such honor, I want to tell you, we got to look at this whole system. I have just spoken to too many people involved. It is very, very, very hectic. That's all I'm prepared to say for now. So, and the same people who train the witches and the warlocks train the military soldiers. Here you have it. Go do your research. That's all I'm saying. So we've got to look at things very carefully. We can't think of just uprooting some things and not others, because the gateway program, accessing the human mind and the human consciousness through frequency, is to be weaponized by the military. The military did that so they can weaponize the human mind. So if we think that's okay for 1 minute, well, then we've got to think a lot of things are okay. And if we think the military is okay doing what they're doing, and again having this beautiful front of honor and integrity and fighting for your country, and of course the guys go in there believing that's what they're doing, knowing that's what, and they are. But I think there's a lot there's a lot we are not, there's a lot that we are not told. A lot.
And I'd love to do a show where we can talk about the good, because meditation itself started off, I mean, as a good thing, and there are still good practices out there. And I know exactly, we can do a whole show on that if you guys want us to, because I've deeply, I mean, I've spent many years in India, you know, it wasn't a one-time stop. It's been many years going back and forth. And so, all right.
You know, and I want to just say as well, I mean, meditation really and these breathing yoga techniques come from the East, okay? And rest assured, there are lots of dodgy old Indian swamis, okay?
Yeah.
They are super dodgy. And they will look at, what's his name, that one that walks around with a thing on his head now? The New World Order guy?
Bhajan, I've covered him.
No, not Bhajan. That's Kundalini yoga.
Oh yeah, he's a total Yogi Bhajan's total fake. I think he was created by the 3-letter agency.
Yeah, but no, this is the other one. The ones that always hanging Klaus Schwab, and that one.
Oh, I don't know him. I follow. I mean, I know. I follow the line through. I only follow the line through Krishnamacharya. Like I will not go outside of the where I can actually follow the pathway. Like no, I know all the.
He's one of those well-known ones. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I don't follow the real because that's not my interest. Is actually studying so I don't. Some of these big famous yogis. Are created by the 3-letter agency, and I've talked about on my channel. I had Gursant Singh come on a couple weeks ago talking about Yogi Bhajan and what a awful human being he was, and how he was connected to the Indian government and then therefore sent to America. It was a total shit. It was a sham. And Kundalini yoga. Remember, Kundalini is real. Kundalini yoga is not real. It's all made up. It's all everything. It's made up to make you hyperventilate, so you become susceptible to the way they play the gong. It's all it's all to control your mind. Which that's the reason why, like in my lineage, we never play music in our practice because it needs to be as clear as possible, where it's just you. No music is ever played. When we teach a lead class, which is once a week, it is strictly done on a vinyasa count. There's no other influence, but just counting. That's it. My teacher only has us work with the Tristana method. We do not sit and meditate because our mind can get manipulated. So we have to use the Tristana method in order to focus ourselves. So, and Patabi Joyce himself would say, yoga is about you controlling your own mind. So he was very clear about that. The way that this ancient system was taught from the Yoga Karanta was you controlling your own mind. But all of these other offshoots that have been corrupted are flipping that for you now to be controlled. And that's an important information to know. But you guys, I have to hop off in like 15 minutes.
Sadhguru. Thank you, Jenny. I was hoping someone was gonna pop. I always forget his name. Sadhguru. He's very famous and he speaks all the right words and travels around and then you see him hugging Klaus Schwab.
You should my boyfriend talk about Sadhguru. My boyfriend's like, that dude's a total fraud. Like.
Yeah, total. I mean,
so, yeah.
Sorry, let's carry on. You've got to be off.
4 verses to get through, guys. So I'm going to read this really fast, okay? Verse 43. How to manifest your heart's desire. Place in thy body a thought-formed picture. Think of the numbers that lead thee to the tree of life. Thoughts, commentary in modern English. Picture in your mind what it is that you desire. Focus also on how each energy center or chakra has a part in delivering that to you. The numbers coincide with the lords of frequency. Everything is frequency. Shanti was just speaking about this, right? Everything is frequency. All can be reached in your quest for more life. Shishat contributes her wisdom. Your body has its own wisdom. It knows what is best for it, and it knows what it's best to avoid. As you hold a firm picture of that which you desire, you really feel it in your body. So shall it more easily be manifested to you. We were just speaking about that, so that's kind of like a God wink, right? So that brings us to verse 44. Clear is the pathway to he who has wisdom. Open the doors to the kingdom of light. He says in modern English, take your time to study these teachings. You will become wiser. This will keep you from acting hastily and making many mistakes. Wisdom comes from study. However, wisdom also comes from life experience. Save time and learn from others who have gone before you. That's what we're trying to do because we've been down this yoga world. We're trying to be like, listen, let me impart what we've learned to you guys so you don't have to make the same mistakes. Shishat contributes her wisdom. There have been many wonderful teachers who have gone before you. All have made mistakes in using wisdom. Let not your heart be discouraged as you look upon the mistakes which you have made. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Place light on the mistakes and thank them for teaching you. Easy is the path to those who pay attention, judge not, and forgive often. Place light. As I always say, Shanti always says, like when stuff comes up, like when betrayal, jealousy, fear, anything that's sad, that makes you feel lower, say, okay, thank you for being here. What do you have to teach me? Place light on that. Mm-hmm. What are you trying to teach me? Verse 45. Pour forth thy flame as the sun of the morning. Shut out the darkness and live in the day. Thoughts, commentary in modern English. There is a flame within you and your being that can never be quenched. You have far more power than you know. Shout out those dark energies who try to corrupt the flame of your heart. Live in the light by choosing the good every time. Shishat contributes her wisdom. A good way to know that you are basking in the light is to check in with your thoughts and conversations. Do you recognize when you are in judgment of others? It is simple to turn this around. We were just speaking about that. Do you recognize when you're in judgment? So, awareness is the key. Do your thoughts feel uplifting to you? If not, what can make them so? Be aware that you are the master of your own being, of your own growth. You do have the power to choose light. You do have the power to choose light. We got 2 more verses. And then we can graduate, like we were saying before we went on the air. We can graduate from being assholes after that and go on to the 4th chapter. I just know it's shorter. I haven't read it though yet. Verse 46, follow the path of thought. Take these, O man, as part of thy being. The 7 who are, but not are as they seem. So the chakras. Open, O man, have I my wisdom. Follow the path in the way that I have led. Thoughts, commentary, and modern English. Take the power and assistance which these 7 lords of frequencies are offering you. So your chakras are not just there to be like a hindrance, but they're there to offer you support too. Follow this guidance, activate your own chakras with the power of these sound frequencies, and you shall see great advancements in your soul. Follow this path and more shall be revealed to you. Shishat contributes her wisdom. Remember that Guyana is the center connecting point of all these chakras. The heart is eager to know all that will cause growth. The 7 are surely not as they seem, for they seem to be such a mystery, do they not? Yet look at the assistance of their frequencies can give your body's entire energy system. It is a precious treasure. The frequency of Lord Guyana sends energy upwards to the throat, third eye, and crown chakra, being in rhythm in your heart's desire if you are paying attention to them. Guyana sends energy downward to the solar plexus, sexual and root chakra. Focus on the heart chakra is a blessing to your entire being. And drum roll, please. We're at the very last verse. 37, master of wisdom, son of the morning, light and life to the children of men. Thoughts, commentary, and modern English. We have given you a light to follow. Your chakra system holds many secrets. You shall become masters of wisdom. You shall be as light until the children of men. Whoa, y'all. So Thoth said, again, in the first verse of this whole damn adventure, he said, I'm writing this for you guys. That's right. For Shanti, for Morné, for Bryce, for all y'all, as we say down here in the South, all y'all watching right now. He wrote it for you, and now he is saying, at the very end of the 3rd chapter, after he told us how not to be an asshole and heal ourselves, he's saying, you, the person I wrote this for, you shall be a light until the children of men. Talk about a mic drop, right? You are the light. I've been telling you guys, you're the storm. You're the storm.
I mean, that's what Jesus also said, the kingdom of God is within you. You can do what I can do, blah, blah. It's the same message over and over and over and over again.
It's not about the Kennedys coming to save you. It's not about Trump coming to save you. You are the same. You're the one. You're it, boo.
I gotta tell you, anyone who thinks the Kennedys are cool, I've been reading some very dodgy stuff about them lately. How funny is that? I tell you, I'm
so tired of people thinking someone's going to come save them. I'm like, you are not giving yourself enough credit. You're the main character of this movie, honey. This is a hero's journey. You're the main character, my dear. It's you. It's been you all along, right? So they're saying that. Hold fast on your heart's calling. Always turn your thoughts back to the light. Shishat contributes her wisdom. Spend time in stillness. Hold thoughts of fulfilling your heart's desire. When dark thoughts would overtake you, turn to your divinity within. Call upon the divine figures whom you look up to. When you feel that you need extra guidance or protection, I think we all do that. She says, be it the Christ, Lakshmi, Kuan Yin, Zeus, Allah, or any other being of light. All desire to be of service to humanity, or they would not be a being of light. There is only one source, yet from that warm source flow multiple streams of helping energies. Your light among men is surely found in that great fountain of light within your heart. Do not diminish the power which you already have to be a light among men. Do as your heart guides you, and so shall it be. And that's the end of the third. We finished it, guys. We graduated.
Do as your heart guides you, and you will know when your heart guides you, because especially when you've let go, when you're not in pain and suffering and in anger and in resentment anymore, if that is no longer the order of your day, you've got to know your heart is then guiding you. And that's when, through meditation, you will know that moment you feel, that feels good. And you might go, a second later, because your fear might take over and you go, I could never imagine that. But allow yourself to go with that initial feeling. Trust that. You've got to learn, the heart chakra is all about trusting. It's the first of the elements. It's the element of air that's invisible or intangible. So now that you've walked up the earth, you've now got to learn how to fly, right? And it's all about learning how to fly. What does a mom do when she kicks her baby little eagle or hawk out the nest or whatever? That poor little thing must have fear of heights second to none. And it's either going to fly or it's going to tumble, right?
Yeah.
So I would say fly, baby. Put those wings out and just fly. Because if we are in this place now, I love the saying that says, and God says, come, my children, walk to the edge, jump, you might just fly. So I love that. So let's fly. This is the time where, and I'm not talking about physically walking to the edge of the cliff and jumping and putting your arms out and expecting to fly. That's silly.
Not yet.
And
Not
I
yet.
say that. Yes,
It's not LSD trip. Oh, metaphor, guys.
Well, you never know. Maybe someone on a bad LSD trip or a good LSD trip will end up flying. But I think what I'm saying is more your heart. Trust. Trust. Rumi says, break your heart wide open. And man, oh man, have I had that this past few months. Really, starting from, and I've also spoken about it on the channel, when I discovered Hannes was taken out in a hit. That for me was like, I may as well have been taken out in a hit, but probably given the hit of life then, right? Because that just brought so many things and gave me the opportunity of finding closure. And then along with all the sun salutations and things I've been doing, it just keeps coming. And there'll be times I'll just be driving in my car and suddenly I'll have an insight and go, wow, it could be completely 2 weeks after I set the intention type thing, But once you start that process of self-actualization, willingness, openness, anything and everything, when really it's true, knock and the door will be opened. Just knock at that door. It's going to be opened. If it's for you, if it's not meant for you, it's not going to open.
Well, and I want to say this too, because my friend Emmy, whose birthday is today, happy birthday, Emmy. Whenever I'm feeling, we call our friends and we vent about something we're frustrated with or something like that. And she always reminds me, and I want to remind this to the audience too. This could feel overwhelming if you're used to someone coming in and rescue you, but I want to remind you of this because my friend Emmy always reminds me of this. In my situation, and Chantelle and Morné, we've all been attacked so many times, but my friend Emmy's like, but look, you're still standing. You have survived 100% of everything that's come your way. And I want to say that to the audience too. You are stronger than you think you are. You have survived 100% of everything that's come your way. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still moving forward. Chantelle, Morné, and I have survived tremendous amounts of assaults to try to stop us. And we're still here, and we're cracking jokes as we do it and looking cute too. So, must really suck for them, right? Because we've survived. Yeah. And you watching right now, you have survived 100% of everything that is, think about your darkest days that you've ever had. You survived that. And one of my favorite lines of all time is, isn't it awesome to know that some of your best days haven't even happened yet? There's so much to look forward to. You are that powerful. And I will say, my dad, speaking of jumping off of a cliff and flying, I remember being like maybe 3 or 4 years. I remember I had a pink bathing suit on with ruffles. I remember holding my dad's hand and walking to a pool with my dad. And I will never forget this. It's ingrained in my head. My dad just picked me up and threw me in the deep end. And I remember falling in the water and seeing my dad go like this. And so I started to swim. And that's how I learned how to swim, by just being thrown into the deep end. And guess what? I don't have any fear of water. You would think you would be traumatized by that, but I have no fear of water at this point, and I can swim. And so sometimes when you get thrown, what if you sink? Oh, but what if you swim?
Yeah.
What if you
I want to just answer a question here, Pretty Bird, which I just wanted to put up here, please. What is the difference between judging another and frustration from being surrounded by delusional people? Well, I really think that is it's a good question, because it's a lot of that going on around at the moment. I think it's always good to remember that the world is in a chaotic place at this point in time. People they're getting overwhelmed with everything. So there's like a sensory overload. A lot of people are waking up, they're in shock. I think it's good to remember we've all been there at some point. You see, this is where I think we are asked for compassion, but mostly to ourselves, because, when we're getting frustrated at others because we judge them as delusional because they're not seeing the world in the way that we are, I will guarantee you there was a time that you probably saw the world in a similar way, if not the same. So it's always good just to go back to those times within yourself and just remember how you were feeling at the time, where you were at, and what brought you forward. Maybe it's a prayer that can help someone. Maybe it's a kind word. But as we realize by now, you delusional and you need to wake up is not helping people. It's really kindness. Kill them with kindness. That's what I say. Even if it's your mom or your sister, and I'm talking about people particularly close to you or colleagues or something, it's very difficult at these times. Just take a breath, have a cup of tea, say a kind word to them, change the subject. There's always going to be something else you're going to connect on. Maybe you've got kids, maybe you've got similar age kids, maybe you go to the same gym, whatever. There's other things that you can enjoy the person on. Don't look at their spiritual awareness. Yes, there's, or where you think. We've become such a judgmental society. And I'll put my hand up to that as well. Absolutely. Especially these past 2 to 3 years with what's been going on. And it took my sister collapsing after number 3 to not judge that anymore. I don't judge it anymore. I understand people do it because they really think they're doing the right thing. And because they probably don't know any better. They didn't have the upbringing I had. They didn't grow their own food. They didn't milk their own cows. They didn't feed their own lambs with milk in the morning. I did all of that. I'm lucky, very, very lucky. So I understand that a lot of people don't have that. So it's about realizing every person is where they need to be, exactly as you are where you need to be, and let that sink in. And when you let that sink in, when you open your eyes again, you won't feel frustrated. Because the very thing I'm not liking in you is what I need to heal inside of me. Where are you frustrated? Where do you feel delusional? Where do you feel lost? Where do you feel alone? Then answer those questions for yourself. And when you can answer them for yourself, then you can look at someone else with different eyes. Cool.
Well, that just, before we just quickly go, that just takes everything into account that I wanted to say. Remember, we are sons and daughters of God. We're all created out of God, in the image, out of the same elements, same energy. So within us, we don't need anything else. Just go into nature, sit quietly, and hear God's voice. If your intention is right, then you will. If your intention is wrong, you will hear your own voice. At the end of the day, we are so amazing. And if you look at somebody else that's in darkness, that is delusional or whatever, you just see yourself maybe 5 years ago or something like that. Just realize we're all freaking amazing. And at the end of the day, we need to connect more. So don't focus on what we do not connect with, rather focus on what we connect with. Because I think right now we all have it within us.
And yeah, Louise, sorry, is it Louise? Is that how I pronounce your name? Louise Meehan, if I'm saying it right. Oponopono, the Oponopono prayer. Oh boy, amazing.
Thank you.
The Oponopono prayer. That is incredible. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. Sorry. I'm sorry. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. And that is a mantra. And you use it to yourself. You use it for those around you. There's some beautiful things on YouTube about the Oponopono prayer, and I've actually often wanted to mention it. So I'm very glad that you saw that. Yeah, that is a beautiful, beautiful, and we can talk. I know Bryce has got to go. We can talk the next time about the message that, and there's beautiful experiences that people have had using the Oponopono. So I know that Brycey, I know you've got to go, and I know you're in a rush, and I know we've kept you. Love you, madly.
Guys. It was a perfect show. It was a perfect show. And I'm really excited. We graduated, guys. We get to go to chocolate bar.
Now we no longer assholes. We just assholes.
We're just butt cheeks now.
Shiny butt cheeks.
Shiny butt cheeks. And who knows what tablet 4 is gonna have in store for us? So
exactly, I love it. Beautiful guys.
Love you all. Bye, everybody.
Take care. And if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, follow. Morné, I think you put the link in the Twitter, right? Sorry, the Signal account.
Yes.
So if you want to follow me on Signal, for those of you who want to do the 23 day, it is 23 days, 21, with the day in between, Surya Namaskar challenge. Please join my Signal group. I'll also be posting a lot of personal stuff there. For those of you who want to be joining my healing journey personally, what I put out there, that's the group that I'm doing it on. So we'll have chats, vlogs, blogs, blah, 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 all those cool things. So please join. And thank you so, so much, all you beautiful people, for joining us on this Monday. It's been a wonderful day to end off my day. As I told you earlier on, I was seriously grumpy this morning, but it's beautiful to have all of you. And thank you so much. God bless you all. We will see you tomorrow with Alice Parola. And for those of you who didn't watch the interview with Alice Parola last week, I highly recommend that you do. Alice is, if you watched it, she's also was sexually molested, abused by her father as a young child, and has since developed borderline personality disorder and a whole lot of others as well. But really speaking so beautifully about the stigmas attached to mental issues and mental disorders. It's really so liberating to talk about these things. Please watch the interview. Very, very interesting. Tomorrow, her daughter, Nikki, will be joining us from her perspective, growing up with a mom with borderline personality disorder. I got to tell you, Alice gave me a chapter of her book to read, and it brought tears to my eyes. One paragraph where she speaks about an incident with her daughter and how beautifully her daughter at the age of 13 or 12 or 13 handles her mom when she goes into an episode. So I think this is such a lovely story to share, and a very, very important one. And on this channel, we address everything. Mental disorders, definitely top of the list. So God bless you all. That's everything for me eventually. Thank you for watching.
Ciao, buddy. Ciao.